Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel SGKmistry lectures. In this video, I'll be explaining how we need to use different types of teaching aids so as to make your teaching very interesting as well as it will be easily grasped by the students. So now, in this video, I'll be covering the topic of flame and fuel so that by making use of different types of teaching aids like charts or pictures, you will be able to make the students understand the concept much better rather than just chalk and talk method. So first, let me show the first picture where we need to tell the students that there are different types of flames that are available in our day-to-day life. So first, let us show the picture of Bunsen burner and ask the students what is the color of the flame that they have observed in the Bunsen burner. In order to get the effective burning or in order to get very high temperature, then the flame color in the Bunsen burner should be blue. So Bunsen burner is an ambient gas burner and it has a blue colored flame. And it can have temperatures up to 500 degrees Celsius so as to get very high temperatures required for laboratory work. Let us show one more example, that is by showing the picture of kerosene lamp. So again we need to ask the students whether they have observed this kerosene lamp in their homes or in nearby places. So in the kerosene lamp, the color of the flame is yellow. So these two examples easily show us that there are different types of flame that are available. So next we have to go to what is meant by the structure of a flame. So for this sake, let us go into detail of understanding the structure of a candle flame. So here we can just show this teaching aid, that is the structure of the candle flame, that is a diagram of a candle flame which shows the different zones of the candle flame. So here, as you can see in the picture, there are three different zones in a candle flame. So the outermost zone, which is comparatively blue in color, is the one in which the complete combustion takes place. So why in this region there is complete combustion? This is because of the fact that combustion requires oxygen. So the outer part of the flame is completely exposed to oxygen. So here in this part of the flame, the complete combustion takes place. So this part of the flame where complete combustion is taking place is blue in color and it is the hottest part of the flame. The middle, that is the middle zone, which is yellow in color, is the part of the flame where partial combustion is taking place. Here, it is not completely exposed to oxygen, therefore only partial combustion takes place and it is yellow in color. And since only partial combustion takes place in this region, it is moderately hot. Next, the inner zone of the flame, what you can see in the picture, it is black in color. This is because it contains unburnt wax vapors. So here this combustion is not taking place, or I can say it is, whereas in the outermost zone it is complete combustion, in the middle it is partial combustion, but here it is completely unburnt. That is, the wax that is present in the candle is completely unburnt here, and because of this it appears black in color. So since here the combustion is not taking place, this part of the flame is least hot. So this is about the different zones of the candle flame. The outermost part, which is very hot, the middle zone, which is moderately hot, and the innermost zone, which is least hot. This is based on the temperature. We can divide it into three different zones, whereas based on the extent of combustion, you can divide the flame into again three different zones, as the outermost zone of complete combustion, middle zone of partial combustion, and the innermost zone of unburnt wax particles or unburnt wax vapors. So this is about the different types of flame for which I showed the two teaching aids, that is the picture of the Bunsen burner and the picture of the kerosene lamp, And then in order to explain the structure of the flame, I have used the diagram of the candle flame, where I have shown the 3 different zones in a candle flame in terms of temperature as well as in terms of extent of combustion. So next, coming on to what is meant by a fuel and which are the different characteristics for a particular fuel to be called as an ideal fuel. So fuel is something which undergoes combustion to give flame. So here, when do we call a particular fuel as ideal fuel? So what are the different characteristics that are required in order for a fuel to be called as an ideal fuel? So for this sake, I have taken this teaching aid where here we can see the ideal fuel and the different characteristics of an ideal fuel I have written here around it. So here the ideal fuel should be cheap, that is, it cannot be very expensive so that many of us cannot afford it. If it is cheap, it can be afforded by each and everyone. Next, it should produce large amount of heat, that is, even with small amount of the fuel, it should produce large amount of heat, because the main purpose of the fuel is to get energy or to get the heat energy. So it should produce large amount of heat when it is burnt, or in other words, it should have very high calorific value. That is, the calorific value is nothing but the amount of heat energy released when 1 kg of a fuel is burnt, or when 1 kg of a fuel undergoes complete combustion, and it is expressed in terms of kilojoules per kg, that is kilojoules for the heat energy that is released, and it is measured in terms of kg, that is per kg of the fuel. So kilojoules per kg is the unit for calorific value. Next, it should not leave behind any undesirable substances. That is, the fuel, when it is burnt, if it is giving a lot of pollutants into the atmosphere, then we cannot call it as an ideal fuel. So it should not give much of these undesirable substances. It should not release this type of pollutants into the atmosphere. Of course, there will be smoke which will be released when you burn a fuel, but the pollutants or these gases which is released due to burning should be at a minimal amount. Next, it should be readily available so that each one of us can afford this, and each one of us will be made available of this particular fuel. Next, it should also burn easily in air so that we need not require very drastic conditions in order to burn this fuel, and it should burn easily. That is, it should not require any very drastic conditions to be burnt. So these are the different characteristics of an ideal fuel. Next, coming on to the last topic of this video, which I am going to tell, that is the harmful effects of burning of fuel. So one of the idea where you can use a teaching aid to explain this topic is you can show different pictures without actually telling what is it, and you can ask the students to explain what is in the picture, or you can ask the students to guess what is in the picture by showing the picture which shows the harmful effects of burning of fuels. So this is the first picture. Here, this picture easily depicts the burning. Here we have the picture of the globe, and then there is the burning symbol, which easily shows that this is nothing but global warming. So burning of the fuel results in the release of carbon dioxide, large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and we all know that when large amount of carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere, it will lead to global warming. So the first effect of burning of fuel is the harmful effect that is because of burning of fuel is the release of large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which will ultimately lead to global warming. So global warming, we know that when the temperature of the earth increases, this will lead to the polar ice caps to melt, and this will again lead to increase in the water level of the water bodies. So this may lead to floods, especially in the coastal areas. So this is the first harmful effect of burning of fuels. So next, coming on to the next picture, this picture easily depicts that the pollutant or the polluted air enters through our nostrils and moves into our respiratory system. So again, we know that whenever the pollutant or the harmful air enters into the nostrils and moves into the respiratory system, this will lead to respiratory disorders. So the next effect is the respiratory disorders due to inhalation of polluted air. So this may lead to diseases like asthma. So this is the second effect, where the inhalation of this polluted air results in our health issues. Next picture easily can be identified, that is, here the water is rising, and here what happens is, along with the water, the pollutants, that is the oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur, rises through the industries as well as the other usages, domestic usages, and there what happens in the atmosphere, these oxides will mix with the water and convert into acids. The oxides of nitrogen combine with water to give nitric acid, and the oxides of sulfur combine with water to give sulfuric acid. And these acid substances come down to the earth, come down back to the earth as acid rain. So we know that because of acid rain, there is loss of vegetation, there is problem with monuments and so many other bad effects. So this acid rain is again due to the burning of the fuels, which will release out the oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, which will combine with water to give acids. So this is one more harmful effect of burning of fuel, so which can be easily explained by means of this picture. So in this video, I have explained how we can use simple teaching aids in order to make the teaching interesting and very understandable to the students. I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you for watching the video.